It was really magical. That last day, everything was magical, but that last day, you just felt you're living in another zone, time. Time stopped. It was incredible.
Everyone, welcome back. I'm very happy that we are back again with Sarah and Melissa from South Africa, and we will continue our conversation with Sarah. I'm Subhashri from London, and let's begin this conversation today. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Melissa. Welcome.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Lovely to see you. That sunshine on your face, Sarah, through your smile. And we can also feel presence of Mohanji with both of you there. So just a recap. So last time when we spoke about how the connection between you and Mohanji happened, the beginning of
Yes.
this journey, and we really enjoyed with the background of your birth that Melissa shared, and the hurdles or the journey difficult time that you had in your school and initial days, and then how from suddenly nowhere you actually established that connection with Mohanji through the Shakti Path during meditation, and you introduced to each other and established that friendship or that connection, and that grew more as the first retreat that happened in that you attended in South Africa with Mohanji. So with that, we left it as a very emotional note. That emotion actually showed us the deepening of the connection that was happening between you and Mohanji. You felt that love and you felt the pain of separation when he was going away. But this is all about faith, love, trust. And you didn't still know him fully, but that was a beautiful beginning that was happening. So, with that, let's move on this time. Um, what would you have to now say? Where do you want to start from?
Today we are moving on to the next year when Mohanji came to our home for the second time in 2016, April. And in that visit a lot of things were happening. The first thing that happened that was significant, he called me in for a one-on-one here in our home, and then he told me how my mom will be traveling with him more, and I was quite frightened in that moment. So I decided to ask him who will look after me if my mom is not here, and then he said, I will look after you. Then I then I felt that I have to trust this because he knows what he's saying.
Sarah, you actually got the world's best childminder. You probably did not realize this at that time. What did you feel, Melissa? How did you feel to leave Sarah and travel with Mohanji?
Yeah, so at that moment, I really didn't know that because they didn't share with me the news. It happened later on and somehow naturally, organically, I would say. And but yes, Mohanji knew what's best for us because Sarah and I was so dependent on each other, over dependent. Yeah, it was so hard, of course, to go and leave Sarah, and to organize. I would micromanage everything, right, and control everything. So in a gentle way, he started offering Sarah this deeper and deeper connection, while he was showing me another path to myself, and he was
Mm.
showing me also how he works first with my own family, how he's helping them when I'm away. Yes, of course, I had my personal experiences, but then when it comes to your children and family issues, that's also difficult, right? So in such a most incredible way, he showed me how he works and how he helps everyone around us. And he definitely took care much better than I would in a physical proximity, because it was becoming too interdependent, right? It was not healthy. She was big enough to start taking responsibility for herself.
How did you feel, Sarah, at that time without your mom? Did you really feel Mohanji being taking care of you?
Yes. Whenever I opened my mouth and asked Mohanji for something, he would say, "Yes, Sarah. What do you need?" And then I got used to it as time moved on slowly, gradually.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Wow. So that is, you actually experienced Mohanji, almost like your mother, being there for your needs and fulfilling your
Yes,
needs with that assurance,
but not in a physical
not in a physical.
format, in a metaphysical format, as Mohanji calls it.
Wow. Wonderful. Okay, you can continue.
And then in that same visit, we didn't have water for like 4 days to 3 days. And during that time when we didn't have water, my mom fell really, really ill suddenly. And during that first evening, it started to get worse. So the ambulance had to take her to the hospital to help her. And I felt frightened. Then I just remembered to ask Mohanji for help. And also, in that same evening, Mohanji asked to go somewhere else where there was running water because he cannot be in a place without running water. But he did promise that he will come back to the house when there is a need, because there was things happening in our home that needed him, like programs and um, meetings with people happening in our home at that time. So during that night, I was feeling really sad because Mondi left, and then it got worse because they had to take my mom to the hospital. So my sadness got worse, and then I decided to ask Mondi for help, and then he said he when I asked him for help, he said, "I know what's going on. I know. But that keep in mind that everything is gonna be okay and you will see me tomorrow." And then I said, okay, let me do that. And then he told me what to do to calm down. He said, switch on a YouTube video of mine to cheer yourself up. And then I did that. And then my parents came back from the hospital around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. Then I fell asleep again. Then the next day, the the situation in the house with my mom's bad illness got was gradually getting better. And then I saw how Mohanji is helping the situation pass as quick as as he can, and slowly the water started coming back after 4 days. So I saw how how things how he can work through things to make how he can work through normal life situations to make them feel easier and better for people. And um, then that evening of that day when things started getting better, he came back to the house to have to have a online program with some people from a different country. And then first we started off the evening with dinner, and then he said to everyone at the table, Sarah's mom is getting better. And then I said to myself, then I said to myself that he really knows what he's saying. Like I really see him working through situations to get better. And then after that evening, things the things in the house shifted completely to normal again. Everything was functioning normally again. Nothing was out of place. Nothing was turbulent. So we went right from a turbulent time to a total stable time in the house. And then the following day was quite interesting after that happened, because there was a retreat planned in Johannesburg at that time, another retreat planned, and my mom was the main organizer. And everything, my mom got better, so she could go to the retreat normally and be in the retreat normally. Then when we left just before we left for the retreat, we were having lunch before we left. So I decided to thank Mohanji for helping me in that turbulent time that I was passing through in our home at that time. And of course, I did it telepathically, because it was easier, because at that moment in time while we were having lunch, he was talking to people, so I didn't want to disturb that. And then he said to me, "It's my pleasure, Sarah. Now you now you see how we can work together to get things that you don't like in a better place where you like them." And then we left for the retreat. Then when we reached, we were traveling with Mohanji in the car to the retreat. And then I decided to remain silent the whole way. And then I was just quiet the whole drive. It wasn't very far. I decided just to remain silent and just to think, and just to go back and think to myself what I just passed, because the last week for me, with all that going on, was quite turbulent. And then when we reached the retreat, Mohanji said to me telepathically, "Now it's time to enjoy yourself, Sarah. Just enjoy yourself. The worst has passed and will never come back." And then I
Oh,
said,
what a reassurance that was.
then,
The worst is
then,
past.
then I said, then I said, "Okay, thank you. I will do that." The retreat went quite well. We had quite a few new people that came, not very new, but new to retreat and how retreat works,
Hmm.
with Mohanji, of course. And then slowly that visit came to an end. Then I carried on with the rest of the year as per normal when he left, but I was quite sad again to see him go, because because he showed me what he can really do again in a different in he showed me how he can really help me when things are when things get a bit turbulent.
Mm.
And
Sarah, can I
and
ask you a question? Um,
yes,
during the retreat when you attended, of course, you are a young teenager that time, and you probably never attended any spiritual programs or retreats, things like that.
yes.
You had a connection with Mohanji, you were understanding him. You knew your mother was, obviously playing a very active part. But when you were attending the retreat, what was your feeling or what were you taking from the programs? How were you conceiving it?
This was my second retreat, so I knew it's maybe not gonna be fun again. I knew maybe there might be some physical ailments or some physical illness, because that's what usually happens in retreat. Not every retreat, but usually, if there's something to be cleansed, Mohanji cleanse you through physical illness like flu and cold
Mm.
and those types of things. But surprisingly, for my second retreat, I didn't experience it as bad as it was in the first retreat. It was just a little bit turbulent. Turbulent, like I was experiencing. Whenever went to satsang, I experienced something new when I was looking at Mohanji's face while he was talking. I experienced how we can integrate his words that he speaks right while we are looking at him.
Wow.
And then I would go back to the room, and then and then and then talk to Mohanty what I heard in the satsang that day. And he would tell me, you are the only one listening to my words. Everyone else is like half asleep.
Oh my God.
And then then I really said to myself, oh, then I really said to myself, then I really said to myself that, oh, this must be very serious. What, 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 what we are getting here. So, what
Mm.
we're getting through this program and retreat. So I decided to listen more carefully, and
Wow.
every end of the satsang, I would ask, I would go back to the room and give him a give him the give him what I heard and how I
What you
heard it,
learned.
just,
Mm.
just to make sure that it's correct. And he would say, it's correct. Today, three people were listening, including you. And then at the end of the retreat, it all fell into place. My connection, my metaphysical connection, started getting stronger as as the as the year went by. Then in December, I took my first trip to India.
Oh, wow. First ever trip to India.
Then there I saw how people live without hygiene, and I was not so surprised because I knew life is turbulent,
Yeah.
and people go through different things in life. But I was kind of quite shocked to see how people go through life differently,
Mm.
as per to say. This retreat that I attended in India with Mohanji was in Shirdi, the place of Shirdi Sai Baba. It was quite, it was quite magical. because during that retreat, I I it was like every other retreat, but it was quite magical because we were visiting the places where Shirdi Baba was walking. Like the first place we visited was the cave where Shirdi Sai Baba got enlightened. And because the wheelchair cannot go up the hill easily, so my mom had to pay four men to carry me up there with the wheelchair. But I I got up there eventually, and the transport we were using to get to the location wasn't a really good bus that we reached there eventually. Yeah.
In one single piece. Yeah. Continue. Sorry. I was saying that,
Yeah.
I was visualizing this, the transport and the road and the shaking and up and down and
Yeah, it
you
was
didn't
really,
break into pieces.
yeah, and it was so interesting because I mean, I really had actually a deep calling. I signed up for Shirdi immediately as it was announced. I felt called. And then the same moment I filled up the form for myself, it was like an order from universe saying Sarah should come. And I thought, how am I gonna travel with Sarah to India? And it's not just flying to, let's say, Mumbai, but you have to travel a whole day to reach Shirdi. And the issue, toilets and any, facilities for wheelchair for her that she's not used to I would not, but I was not thinking. I actually signed up because it was like an order. And only a day before travel, I thought, am I crazy? What am I doing? How am I gonna get there? Like all those questions. The mind started working. And then I let it go. Tickets are there, we're leaving, packed, let's go. And everything was flawless, really. And quite an adventure. Sarah had the best adventure of her life. Apart from even the travel, how it went, it was adventurous for her. And also, for example, this going to the hill, such a tall hill, and how everything was just, we were finding solutions as we were going. Some of the trips seemed impossible for Sarah to join, but I actually was determined that she should go everywhere. I don't know what happened to me. I would say to the organizers, no, she should come. Even I'll stay with her wherever she cannot go, but let us see what happens. And in the end, she reached everywhere. And each trip was completely new revelations for her. For example, getting to the top of the hill. She thought she will never be able to reach there, and she was happy to stay at the bottom. But then, when they started carrying her, she can explain. She got very scared, and I was I kind of allowed the organizers to take care of everything. And she said, as they were climbing, the fear was going away, and this exhilaration was starting to take over. New possibility in her life. She can actually experience everything. Like complete new awakenings were happening within her that she shared with me later. And each day was like that with her. Yes, from whatever facilities were there, everything was still possible for her to fully experience it, even beyond anyone who would have dreamed of. So the whole trip was really magical. She went everywhere. And you can share a few more things with that experience, and also with when we went to Aarti as well.
And then the second outing was in the evening. We went to the evening Aarti in the main temple, Dwarkamai, which was quite incredible because the two men that were carrying me in the temple just left me in front of the multi, and I was like, how is this possible? thousands of people are behind me, and I'm right in front. Then when the because I'm really sensitive to noise, so when the noise started happening, I got a fright, and then the two a man saw it and said, "Take her into one room here. She can watch the RT on the TV." And then he took me into the room, and then I was watching the RT on the TV because I'm so sensitive to noise.
Yeah,
So
but it was the room right next to Baba. It's a little
yes,
special VIP room. You're literally right next to Baba as well. Yeah.
it was right next to the Murti. There's like the Murti, and the room is right next door. So I was like, that moment I was asking, what are you doing to me? This is quite amazing. Yeah. And then he said, "You see, Sarah, we find many ways to take care of you." Yes, we find many ways to take care of you and to keep you happy. And then the RT slowly finished. Then we went outside and slowly started moving back to the hotel. And then when we reached the hotel, it was quite late. It was time for all of us to go to bed. And then the next morning when I woke up, we went to breakfast as per usual. Then we went to satsang. The satsang was that day. The satsang was really quite incredible because Srilaka Maharaj from the main temple was invited to Mohanji satsang. So we were listening to Srilaka Maharaj, and part of the satsang was Mohanji speaking. Part of the satsang was Srilaka Maharaj speaking because he was a guest. So it was quite incredible to hear Sudhakar Maharaj talking about his experiences as a priest looking after Baba. For me, about after Shirdi Baba, for me it was like quite incredible hearing that. And then at the end of the satsang, something else happened unexpectedly, as I would say. My mom's shoes went missing just like that. They went missing. And then I was like, whatever next? But I was like, I was like, Mohanji and Shirdi Baba know what they are doing, so it's fine. We just trust them and move on. And then another amazing experience happened um, during that retreat. It happened at night when I was lying in bed. I was speaking to Mondi as usual, like I do every night, but this night was a bit unusual because I was asked a question. I was asked a, I was asked to ask Mondi a question from someone else that wasn't attending the retreat, but that was working in a part of the hotel at that particular time. So I decided to ask Mohanji the question, and he gave me the answer. And then I started getting a bit, because I was not expecting that particular answer he gave me. I started getting emotional. Then I gradually started calming down again, and then I said to Mohanji, oh, "Okay, I will go and deliver this to this particular person at that time." And then the following day, we went again to breakfast, satsang, and and the outings were happening in the afternoon. But in that particular day, the outing that was happening wasn't. I didn't want to go because it was too noisy around, and I just wanted to stay where I was comfortable. So, uh, so in that day, one-on-ones were happening with Mohanji. So I went to the one-on-one, and then after after um after going to the one-on-one, with I stayed in the hotel with a person that already knew Mohanji, but he was working in a restaurant in the hotel in India at that time and living there. So I stayed with him in his workplace at that particular time, and I felt quite comfortable there. But then my facilitator called me and said and wanted to be with me for some time. Then I went to be with my facilitator. Then slowly the evening was approaching. It was time for the evening satsang again, the last satsang before the end of the retreat. That means everyone was invited. The outsiders were invited. It was huge. Like a lot of people came to that satsang. A lot of people came. It was quite. It was quite. It was quite nice to see a lot of outsiders that don't know Mondi coming to his satsang. That was amazing for me to see because if you ask me, that is the goal that we need to say to people that we think that are eligible for this. Not they must go to meet Mondi, but we must give them that as an option because it is transforming, and not many people see that. But as time goes on, it gets to a point where it's a huge transformation. Then the following day started approaching. It was time to leave the hotel and time to go back to Mumbai, the hotel that we were staying in Mumbai, because the following day we had a flight back to South Africa. And I was quite sad to leave the hotel, and mostly quite sad to leave Mondi at that particular time again, because I was not quite used to leaving his physical form yet. And then we just said bye-bye to each other, got in the car, started traveling, and then something unexpected happened. One of the organizers of the retreat stopped our car and said, come, Mohanji is going to this temple. He wants you to come with. And then, okay, I said, okay. And a change is happening to our journey. Let's just adjust. And then, then we reached the temple. Then when I saw Waji, I thought we said goodbye. and then he said, Sarah, it's never goodbye with me. There's unexpected things to happen each time. And then okay, we stayed with in the temple with the people of the temple. They were quite nice to us and quite nice to Monty for a change. And then we continued with our journey. Then we went to another location which we were not supposed to be in. but Mohanji wanted us to go there.
What's the name of the
We
trip?
went to Ganesh Puri, and then another unexpected experience happened there. We saw things that we were not prepared to see there, and then again, at the end of all that, I said to Moji, I thought we said goodbye. And then he repeated the same sentence. With me, there is never goodbye. But now I'm for sure. But he said, now I'm sure that this is the last landmark. We see each other for now. And then I said, okay, okay. I said, okay, now let's try this again. Bye bye. And I hyped him. And then we went to the hotel in Mumbai and reached there. But there was a bit of trouble reaching the hotel because the taxi driver didn't know a word of English. So it was quite interesting. Quite interesting. But then we reached there in the end, and luckily there was some food still left for us because the time was quite late. It was like midnight,
Yeah.
midnightish. So, and we had a flight the next day at around 8 out of Mumbai. So we had to eat and go quickly to bed because we had to like get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to the airport. So it was quite eventful.
Adventure.
And it was quite a adventure at the same time. But we got there in the end, and that trip came to an end, and we reached home safely at the end of the trip. So I was quite thankful that I experienced that in my life,
Wow.
and how it all went how it all came into place at the end. So
This
that
is
that is the end of the.
I remember one thing you didn't mention. During the program in Shirdi, when Mohanji asked you for the first time to talk to everyone.
Oh yes, at the end of the in my one-on-one on that retreat, he asked me, "Now you tell people how you talk to me," and then I was like, "Oh, how am I gonna do this?" And then he said, "No, no, no, I will help you. I will help you." So I went and did it, and then I managed to say to to speak to people how I do it. And then after that I felt a bit a, a bit proud of myself for doing that because I was quite frightened to speak in public at that particular time. I was only at that particular time I was only 16. So for a 16-year-old to get all those experiences is quite incredible, I think. So that's how that trip came to an end.
wow. Sarah, there are a lot of things behind the words from what you narrated. And like while I was listening to you, I was actually those things were coming to my understanding. First of all, you traveling out of South Africa, going to India, to this pilgrimage to Shirdi and the retreat, and this is not an ordinary tour. It's not like a tourist thing. You were definitely called by the tradition. You were definitely called by Baba to experience everything. And Mohanji, of course, was making it happen. So that is why you could reach all those places that Baba wanted to see you, which is beyond your comfort. Uh, reaching those hills, and this is even for normal people um, who are walking and talking and everything. It's impossible if Baba doesn't want somebody to be there, they will not be there. If Baba wants somebody to be there, they will be there. And when Mohanji, that's the reason why Mohanji was holding your hand and taking everywhere. Not physically, of course, but he's the one behind the scene. So those four people who are carrying you may not be the ordinary people, you know. They may be Baba's people who came in disguise to carry you, making sure that you are safe and you reach and see what you need to see. And
Yeah.
also the Arati incident that you said, you know, we know that Samadhi main temple is so crowded, and being in that center place, you know, the space which is normally empty because that's just right in front of Baba, to being, for you being there, even if it is for few seconds, you must have been there for few minutes, right? Not the whole time, but few seconds right in front of Baba's eyes, that's that's quite liberating, you know. That is really unimaginable for people who long to be there. And you were given a VIP treatment. Yeah, what Baba, like what Mohanji told you, that we will make sure that you are happy, right? That you are safe. So they gave you the VIP treatment because you are definitely, you know, so dear to them. Baba called you as a VIP, and Mohanji ensured that you received that VIP treatment. The last bit that you said, the travel to Ganeshpuri, I don't know if you know, but the you know, Ganeshpuri is you know, Bhagavan, he is also an incarnation of Datta masters, you know. So in the visit after Shirdi, it is incomplete if you don't go to Ganeshpuri, in a sense that you visit another Datta master. So it's quite incredible. It is significant that to show you. I mean, I know for sure you know it already, but even for people, I'm just giving what I understood as a just an audience. Baba called you. He made sure that you have seen all the significant places, including Ganeshpuri. So it was not you know, coincidence that you just again Mohanji called you. Mohanji called you because you needed to be there, and so magical. This as you rightly said, it is transformative, and for people to not take it lightly, you know. If somebody is being there in these programs or in these powerful places, they should understand that they have been called, you know, and
Yes.
have that faith. What I noticed from the way you were narrating, you were going beyond your comfort zone, the noises that you're sensible about, the physical, you know, discomfort, but you did not expect anything. You were just accepting and flowing through it. So everything came. Even in the end, when you say you had a long journey back to Bombay, Mumbai, and the next day you had the flight. But when Mohanji said, come to Ganeshpuri, you know, you were quite flexible to follow, you know. You know, it's this flexibility, the anxiety of travel can bother people, right? But you were so
Yes.
easily, you know, flowing. Okay, if Mohanji is calling, you know, let me go. If I meet him again, great, you know. So, acceptance, no expectations, and flexibility. You know, these are the three great attitude that you demonstrated. And what we understand from this whole narration is how, you know, tradition loves you and how tradition treated you as a VIP. You deserved this. And yeah, the reason that Mohanji asked you to speak to people, it's not the age, physical age of 16 years. What you experience is tremendous, right? People need to have this awareness. You know, people need to see what they actually have the access to. Which, like Mohanji said in the South Africa retreat, people are sitting right in front of him. He's speaking, but they're not even listening to it. So people are being with Mohanji, but they
That
don't
that
they don't
ac- that
understand.
actually happens. That actually happens every time.
Yeah,
Every time.
yeah,
Every time. When he sits and speaks to me, he tells me, "Oh." This one, people are not listening. The only people that are listening is you and I, another few. So
Yeah,
it wasn't the first time. I don't know why he chooses to tell me that, but he has his reasons.
you have the purity. You have the purity and
I
you're no
just
judgment, you know.
I just wanted to add one thing is that actual that day when we were leaving Shirdi and going to Ganeshpuri, it was Dattatreya Jayanti. It
Oh
was
my God, look, see?
amazing. Yeah.
Really, really, really. Yeah,
Very significant. Yeah, very.
yeah,
It was really magical. That last day, everything was magical, but that last day you just felt you're living in another zone, time. Time stopped. It was incredible.
yeah,
Incredible. Such rich, profound moments and experiences with Mohanji.
amazing.
Yeah, we actually didn't, we left Shirdi. Sarah didn't mention that we left, we parted our ways, and that on the way, we were going to Mumbai, and halfway through, somehow our driver stops, and we see Rajesh coming out of another car, and they left long before us. How did we meet on the highways? I actually cannot understand because it's not possible even. And he comes, Mohanji is inviting you to this temple and then Ganeshpuri after that if you would like to join. So in the middle of nowhere actually this happened. It's not like it happened in a hotel.
Mm,
So the whole day was divinely orchestrated by Mohanji.
really. That's what
Amazing.
that's what the call of tradition is, see? That's the call of tradition. Amazing. I mean, these are incredible experiences and probably once in a lifetime, but that's enough. That's enough
Yes.
to feel and understand that. You are so
Yes.
incredibly blessed, Sarah.
Yes.
You're so incredibly blessed. I'm so, so grateful for, for both of you actually to share this is not just about journey or travel experience, but this talks a lot. This gives us a lot of background, the truth of the power of tradition, our tradition, and when we accept and surrender completely to the masters, they really really take care, and that total transformation will happen, and it's beyond our what capabilities that we have or not have. So the bonding is pure love, no transactional. It's completely unconditional love that we feel from in our master, right? And just to be merged in that love, I think that's enough for our lifetimes. So you have been experiencing it, and you are merged in that grace, and you are able to also share to people. I think that's really amazing, Sarah. I'm so grateful to you for talking. So maybe for today we will stop with this, and once again we'll meet, and the next time we'll carry on from there. But thank you once again,
Yes.
Sarah and Melissa, for your time, and lovely, lovely speaking to you. I look forward to our next session. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Bye,
Subhashri.
everyone.
It was really lovely. Thank you.